Howdy, you delicious people. I'm here today to play more of the Simpsons Tap Out. We're going on here and we're hoping to accomplish some goals today of just to keep progressing. As well, I see that we have Sideshow Bob that is now to be arrested. Arrest Sideshow Bob 3 times. Okay, that's great.
Job mediocrely done.
You've completed Get to the Point Part 3. That was barely a limerick, but at least it didn't result in a stampede. Homer gave it his best. That thought that ought to be more than enough. Yes, everything always seems to work out for him, but in matters of religion, I really think you ought to listen to a more godly man. Hey, Skyfinger, I wrote you a poem. I've never even done that for Marge. Come on, I've always thought we were pals. Don't turn your back. The back of your finger on us now. Use the Skyfinger monument. Okay, ready, go. Woohoo! I knew Skyfinger was our one true savior. But I've been praying in our Lord for a miracle for years, and Homer recites half a poorly written limerick and gets it? Oh, come on, Ned. I've got a bottle of communion wine. It's been saving for just such a crisis of faith. Blessed be you, Skyfinger. I worship you, your altar, as often as I feel like it. And always with a side of nachos. The side of nachos. Final goal completed. Congratulations. You've completed Get to the Point Part 4, the final quest of this journey. Collect your reward. Okay, so I guess I'm just done with the game now? Was that the whole thing? Was that all I needed to do? Ooh, we can get another. We can get another scratch off, I hope. Every ticket is a winner. Sure, I bet it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, that's not a winner there, Lightfoot. Well, I guess we got something out of it. We got a double,
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Lisa. What's the 4-1 doodly one? You would have said, what's the 4-1 doodly one? Whatever. It like that doodly didn't work there. Obviously, there should not have been a doodly there. Sigh. Hello, Mr. Flanders. Rod and Todd are afraid to come out. Why? Do you think you can watch them? Oh, yeah. Didn't Lisa, I think, yeah, Lisa used to babysit them. Like, oh, I'm so scared about anything. And, like, I think at one point, I think we had Bart who was, like, scaring the pants off of them at some point to get them to just be terrified to where they were just, like, scared of everything, I think, at some point.
So that's where buildings come from.
Yeah. Congratulations, you completed Made with USDA Letter Grade Beef Part 1. Collect your reward. Yeah. I have Krusty Burger.
You know how ridiculous you look right now.
Krusty Burger is the most coolest thing I have in my town. How did Krusty sound? Hey, kids, anyone got a cigarette? Like I only know the I only know his laugh. Hey there, kids! Anyone got a cigarette? I remember him. I remember they did a whole entire episode. Like they did they did two episodes with Krusty, where there was one episode where we found out that he was like he had to go on like witness protection program, and that like he was like he had to disguise himself to not be Krusty the Krab or something like that, or something along those lines. I know he went into witness protection program for something, and we end up finding out that like Krusty was like Jewish, and his father was like a rabbi or something, and like his father didn't accept his clown ways or something like that. It was a long time ago since I saw that episode. Goal completed. Congratulations, you completed the new Evergreen Terrace Part 4. Collect your reward. Okay. Right. That sounds like time. Quickie Mart is proud to announce it's now selling golden scratchers where all the prizes are donuts. Well, I kind of could figure that out. I could have done the math on that one. All the prices are donuts. I don't care how much fake in-game currency it costs. I'm going to buy some. Yeah, the classic. I'm going to be mocking the player. Yeah, about that. What? What are you gonna do, game? Are you gonna stiff me? Are you gonna what are you gonna do? And what also is going on with this game? Uh, okay, so every ticket is a winner. Okay, so marking up prices. Okay, so does that mean we'll be able to feed the children? Um, what? Oh, Krusty Burger. That's the restaurant where they sell Krusty Burgers. Really? The Krusty thing is what they sell? Really? Made with the USDA letter, grade beef, part 2. Make Homer eat at Krusty Burger. Well, that was what I was going to do anyways. I was going to force him to eat there because that's what he needs to do. Oh, and the other Krusty episode was there was like a place where you could like go to like clown school or clown college to be just like Krusty the Crab or Krusty the Clown. I keep getting SpongeBob bizarrely mixed up with here. I don't know why. We end up having Homer who ends up looking just like Krusty the Clown, and so we end up having it to where Krusty ends up getting kidnapped, but instead of it being Krusty who ends up getting kidnapped, Homer ends up getting kidnapped instead. And so, yeah, it's the funny, interesting thing is like, oh, well, stupid people. Congratulations! You completed the Hey Whittle collect your reward and maybe take a nap. Well, that's what I was planning on doing, game. That's what I was planning on doing. I was thinking about taking a nap during this video. That's my ultimate plan. It's not easy to it's no easy task to build a house in a few hours with no tools, no expertise, and very little motivation. Better recharge with a 10-minute power nap. I'm trying to do a better Homer, but it's just like it is what it is. Make Homer oversleep for a power nap. Oversleep for a power nap? Like, you know when they would have those classic episodes where like you would have it to where like a person is like working nonstop, or like they would just never like sleep. Like I always enjoy those episodes where you just have it to where like you have like a guy that's just like pouring coffee into his cereal and he doesn't know any better and he's just eating anything and then he's like oh, this is awful. Just because he's not waking up, or he's like going into his shower with his toothbrush in his mouth because he's just like, oh my god, am I so exhausted? Um, the explosion blew away all of Springfield's rivers and lakes. We should add some new ones wherever we want. I'm gonna just put a severely small lake. That's what I'm gonna do. Uh, wow, fun. No, wait. I mean, say, wow, tons of work. Not at all. We can place them just like roads. Oh my god. Lake roads? Could I completely and utter oh, it's for free too. I could fill up this entire town with water if I wanted to. Oh my god. That is such a thing I could do right now. Could I make this whole entire town water, please? I think I need to fill up this entire town with water. I know that that's a bad decision, but heaven for Betsy, is that just a fun avenue that this game does not realize that it can have me do. Oh no! I'm not going to do that. Because that doesn't, like, it's not plentiful. It's not like. I wanted this to be like Waterworld. That's what I wanted to happen, but I guess not. I wanted my town to be Waterworld. But wait, could I still I guess I could still technically do that. It just isn't very intelligent to do that, if you know what I mean. Let me pause here for just a second. Okay. Had to make that's the problem. I have been consistently cheating on any game that I've been playing lately with another game. They're like playing Marvel Strike Force like just all day, all time. Even while I'm recording something, or while I'm still like looking down at in some recordings to just see like, oh man, I'm close to getting this. Okay, because that's what I have to do. Um, it's either I do that or I miss out, and I can't like miss out. Like if I miss out, then I don't get some little something, and then like it'll just the process to be able to get any little bit of something, it's mind-numbingly awful. So now that I've gotten that out of the way and I've said that, blue house. Wow, blue house, purple house. What doesn't matter what kind of house it is at this point. Am I going to be able to start accumulating? Just things like donuts anytime soon? Why do they even have like clearly there's like houses here that just mean nothing. Like they're just like, oh, this is so and so's house. I don't know who so and so is, but here they are. Oh, by the way, I should probably build a lake. I should make that lake. I need to make a lake. Bam, bam. I need to make a lake. Tell me, cause I need to make one lake. Okay. Look, I made a lake. Aren't you proud of me, game? I made one. Okay. What if I just did one stitch of what that river run collect the reward? I feel if I just dumped one little thing on there, like it would be like complete because it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to them.
All right.
Wow, I just made a fat stack of cash with whatever Lisa was doing. Just fat stacks of cash. Everywhere I go, the people say, whoa. Okay. make Hover more sleep. Do it.
Hey,
But I want him to do it. Make Lisa babysit Rod and Todd. Well, didn't I force them to do that anyways? Wait a minute, was she gonna be gone for like 8 hours? Where is Sideshow Bob? Show up, Sideshow Bob, so I can arrest you. As I'm crazily scanning all over the town to see where you're at, buddy. So I can go. So I can go. Like I remember that Sideshow Bob would like that's how he sounded when he would just be disgusted with something like like I know everyone would be disgusted that way, but he just went the extra mile to just be like all right. Make Cletus brew moonshine. Go ahead. 24 hours. 24 hours. Do that. Wow, game. You were just thinking that we're going to just have all the time in the world. Because we will. And I promise that we will. Just spin the donuts and you'll be fine. No. Can we add more people into this town game? Isn't it obvious that there should have been Bart in this game right away? I complain about that to the heavens, but aren't I technically right? Like technically Bart and Marge are in here via story, but that doesn't mean anything now, does it? That doesn't actually mean that what it means, you know? That doesn't actually promise me that they are going to be in the game soon. That doesn't tell me that they're right all up. Ooh! I can't wait to get till 9, get to elementary school. Why isn't Barney at Moe's? Why is he at Barney's Bowl-O-Rama? I don't remember him having a Bowl-O-Rama. Maybe that's something that happened later seasons. Van Outen house? Is that where Millhouse? Oh, yeah, because his parents got divorced. So they must have separated the house and he must live there now. Interesting. I didn't know it was called that though. That must be his mom's house. Or maybe not. I don't remember what Millhouse's last name was. I don't know. Lard Lad Donuts. And yes, I was a severe Simpsons watcher. I was like, how many Simpsons episodes can I watch? Not enough of them? Like, I would come home every single day from school and like Simpsons would be on. And so immediately like, well, like me and my sister would just go and she'd be like, well, how about we just watch Simpsons because they seem to always have that every time we come home from school. And so like we would just come home and watch The Simpsons because it's just like, well, like this is all that we could really buy or buy. I just picked that up. That was all that we could really watch because it was a cartoon thing and it was like, meh, like really some of the episodes were really fun. I think eventually I was a person that like, I don't know, I never like, there was very rare amount of times where I would just like consistently keep watching a show. Eventually I would just get worn out of it. Like eventually like there would be a lot of times where I would just be like, dude, like I don't really care to watch this show anymore. Like, do you seriously want to keep watching this? And then like, yeah, and I'm like, okay. It's like, because there'd be a lot of times where we'd get like a rerun circuit of certain shows where like we would just be seeing the same X amount of shows just over and over and over again to where eventually I'd just like could we just no longer watch this show? Like I have like memorized this episode now, and then it's like, oh okay, well like yeah, we'll watch something finally different. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like Because yeah, there's a lot of times where it's great to like if you really like a show, just watch the crap out of it. Like for me, I think I watched Dexter. Like I would pop in and watch that like just a lot. Uh, like I don't have the episodes memorized, but I would just watch that show a lot. Howdy, all you delicious people. So yeah, so I like shifted to go into another Simpsons town, and the recording cut off. I was like, oh well, that's nice. Like, son of a. So I didn't do anything past that point. So I just it's like, oh, okay, well I guess I'll just like see what happens if this cuts off. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, isn't that great? So let's go here. Alright, so that's all we could do. All that just for some XP. Uh, friend level prizes. I don't understand what any of that, what any good would come to that, but okay, sure. Yeah, so. But yeah, I think, God, what were what were the cartoons that I would normally watch? Uh, like I think really I was stuck for a while watching a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. Like I don't know why, like because I really didn't like for me like to not say that I was probably picky, like really picky about what I watched. Um, like to the point of like me like moaning and groaning about every little show that I probably watched. I'm sure because that's it's like I'm sick of watching this show. I hate this show. This show is dumb. Like I think I probably like moaned and groaned until eventually we like eventually stopped watching something. Because I think really a lot of times when you're in a like when you're like family and you're watching TV or whatever, like we normally would like just kind of watch like the same old kind of things like oh there's another marathon of so and so movie that we've seen 3500 times, let's watch that again. And I'm like sure, like if there's nothing else on, because that's what would normally happen. Like we would like just be scrolling through like all the channels we had humanly possible, and there would just be nothing always on. Like funny how we would get like cable and whatever, and there still just wouldn't be much of anything else on. Now like we have like streaming things where if we finally wanted to binge watch something like that is at our fingertips now, and it's a lot easier. And like even with that, like it's hilarious, there's like endless resources at your fingertips, but a lot of times people just still like, well hey, I'm gonna watch this same show that I've been watching numerous times over to the point where I've had it like down pat, memorized it, and know exactly what's going on in every single episode. I'm like, dude, we have all of these endless resources to watch any number of things that we can see for the very first time because we've never seen it before, or we can watch something for the second time. Uh, so how about we do that? Like something fresher, something new. Um, like kind of like when looking at it, just like spin the wheel of Netflix and just like and find something. Like I don't know how many times like I'll stumble upon like, oh hey, I haven't watched the this movie in decades. Like let's watch it now and see if it still holds up. Or like this was a childhood favorite, I think, of a lot of people. So I think now is the time for me to go back and see if it's any good. Like I was thinking honestly about watching the movie Never Ending Story like last night. Like I started it and then I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie. I don't know. Um, like I started to watch like The Mask instead, because I have that reviewed on the other channel that I'm doing, Grim Death Griffin, where I do reviews and stuff like that. Like I ended up watching The Mask, and I ended up watching, God, what was the other one? I ended up finally watching the Speed Racer movie. So I already reviewed that movie. That movie is eventually going on to that channel at some point. Uh, did 3 reviews today. Feeling okay about them. I feel better probably about The Mask than anything else. Uh, Funny that The Mask was actually an animated series. I actually want to probably check that out at some point, but like I want to get the right episodes. Every time I went to an app and I was like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna go and see episode 1 of 1, and it like I would look on Amazon and like the title of the episode doesn't match up with the title that's on Amazon, so little goofy there. Like, could you actually give me the right episode? Freaking app. That's the thing that sucks about like. I guess if it's like a cartoon, they must figure, oh, nobody cares. We can just put whatever episode, and people will be fine with that. Which I just think that that's severely annoying. Um, because it's like get the right episode. If you're gonna put something in there, just put it the right way. Like I get it. It's not like there's quite a bit of apps where like all those things are kind of bootleg or whatever, that I go into because so I can watch stuff that I would normally. Um, so I get it to where like some shows it's like oh they don't care, just because it's like just putting a bunch of just stuff in there. Um, but I don't know. I think they should try to get their order correct. They're gonna put something in there, uh, so that way people could watch. Like, uh, especially if you're watching a show and you want it in like the right order of episode because there's a escalation of episodes. Um, I kind of ran into that when I was like reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series. Like I would be like watching like X episode, and all of a sudden X episode would be like, oh, this is from a completely different Ninja Turtles uh, show that had nothing to do with this thing. It's like season 3, episode 7 of some other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show that just bizarrely came on here, and I was like, man, that just kind of sucks. I'm like, gosh darn it. Like I really uh, like when looking at it, I'm like, I should really like get into Batman the Animated Series, the original one, not Batman Beyond or whichever one else. Like I started watching so many things than actually finishing something. Like there's probably been a million things that I've started watching and not completed than movies that I've actually seen. Because normally I would start to go into movie and realize that I could predict the entire movie right out of the gate, and then immediately I stop watching it. Or I go in and I am just like, I cannot get into this movie. Like, there are times when you're thinking, like, oh man, this is going to be a really awesome, interesting horror movie. Like, the trailer makes it look really good. And then all of a sudden, bad cholesterol. Okay. but yeah, like you go into a trailer and you think, man, this is going to be a really interesting horror movie. Like I think there's something here, there's something there that I could watch. And then you start to watch the movie and you're like, oh my god, like this main character is just you're like it's helping you trying to invest in the main character and you're like, I don't care immediately. Like there is something about this main character that just turns me off. Um, Now that the kids are tired out, I can go work 3 back-to-back shifts. I wish I was dead. Oh my god, sounds awful. Make a poo work an 8 hour shift at Quickie Mart. 8 hour shift isn't that bad. Just like try to do a 12 hour shift, but I guess if you're doing 3 12 hour shifts, but still, uh, or 3 8 hour shifts. Yeah, work them shifts, work that stuff. At least it's a quickie. At least it's a convenience store that you own. At least it's not like a chain. Like if you are the one that's working in the quickie mart, like man, you could like comment and subscribe. No, anyways, you could like build your own like little cot and whatever in the quickie mart, and you could just like do your own kind of shift thing. You would have to close up shop or whatever because like you wouldn't be able to like take a nap while the store is being opened, or whatever. But uh, like it would be tough if the quickie mart was open like 24 hours, and then you like how would you be able to sleep if you're just like, yeah, this like convenience store is consistently open and like, but yeah, it would be basically you could make that your home and also your business. Like there's a lot of smart people that like made some kind of like store thing like their home. Like they basically like made signs and all kinds of, and they're smart. Like they're intelligent people that eventually like figured out how to uh like kind of entrepreneur and stuff like that and made like some smart deals and whatever. Like uh there was really one like bizarrely I ended up doing some like business class uh which when going into this business class I just straight up did it just because of the credits. Like if anything, like my guidance person or whatever was just like, hey, like uh whatever to get the credits, right? And like she was just trying to shift me in all kinds of classes that I had no interest in doing. And so immediately there would be one time where I would get like my schedule and I'm like, dude, I didn't want to do this class. Like, this is like, and we end up having to where the guidance counselor is just like, well, like I thought that this would be perfect for you because you're a guy, basically. And I'm like, that's kind of sexist, because we have it to where like the girl is a woman and I'm a guy, and it's like so she naturally just assumes like, oh yeah, like since you're a guy, you're gonna love like small gas and engines. And I'm like, no, like I would rather just do a easy class, especially if it's an elective. Like I don't want to like I think that class just made my brain hurt. Where it's just like I had to figure out all these like parts and whatever, and like I'm a visual person, and like that didn't help like me needing to know all these names for all these parts, and I'm like, God, and none of it was really like, absolutely none of it was pictures. All of it was like, hey, you know the fuse nozzle and the trifold? Yeah. Uh figure out how the fuse nozzle and the trifolder work together, and like you should be able to get this small engine thing to work. And I'm like, how do I know what the fuse nozzle and the trifolding thing is? And like that would be just an entire packet just full of steps of a fuse nozzle and a trifolding, and I'm like, I don't even know what these parts are. Like really, like there was no way for me to actually try to do that class because I wouldn't understand what is like. I would have to personally like go and uh like find a book, and like I would like sadly enough I didn't have a phone on me, because man, if I had Google during that time, uh like, and I could have figured out like picture wise what, then I could have probably done that class. Ideally my small engine didn't freaking work, so it was kind of a pointless class, because whatever tried to do to try to fix the thing didn't work anyway. So it's basically like, yeah, your engine just doesn't work. And so I ended up just getting passed for the class anyways because my engine couldn't start, and I could figure out how to fix it anyways because I don't know how to fix things. Uh, but yeah, but like I throw my guidance counselor to the bus, but really and truly, it was like the last like of the senior year. I guess I should have like took it upon myself to really try and do my schedule and really tried it. Like I just wanted to figure out how was the easiest way for me to not have to like for my senior year uh do what classes I wanted. Like I was just trying as much as humanly possible to either one, get out of school to try to do some kind of program or some kind of something to get out of school, which did not work. Because they're like, yeah, the program that you tried to get into for school, yeah, it's all full. And I had to find that out the first day of school. And so, like, I took like half of my first day and then just sat around in the guidance office. And then eventually, once finally uh, a certain bell rung, I'm like, okay, when am I going to go to lunch? They're like, well, whenever. Like, there's a lunch right now. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll just go to lunch. And then I'll just head back or I'll head to my third period class or whatever because uh, like half of my day is gone. And then so eventually, like that was the one thing that I never could quite understand, and I wish that they would have figured that out better. Like I could never understand when exactly was I like like I think that they should actually put that in the schedule to tell you, oh, this is exactly when you're going to take lunch, because I would just go to like classes and they would just tell me like, "Oh, I guess you can go to lunch now." And I'm like, oh, "Okay," but not everybody would tell me that. Like there would be some times where I would get um like lunch in like the middle of certain classes. So like I think I had an acting class, and what I would do was um I would do the acting class, go to lunch, and then come back, finish the acting class, and then go to the next class, I think is what happened. Like, and that was always the confusing thing of like, that confuses the heck out of people of not even knowing when they're going to go to lunch. So you're thinking like, dude, I didn't pack like little tiny bits of snacks in my backpack because that just seems weird. But you're going like an entire school day, so that's like you're thinking about 8 to 3, so that's about 7 hours. And so like, and then you have after school stuff, which is going to be uh like till 5. So that's almost like that's 10 hours because there would be some after school stuff that I would do. It wouldn't always be sports, but it would always be like some kind of like study thing or tutor thing. Uh, like I would try to do some kind of after school thing that would like go like, oh well, I can go into this section of this part of school to supposedly help with homework, but realistically there wasn't actual help. It's funny. Um, like, yeah, stay after school so that we can have the teachers come down and help you with your homework. Yeah, that wouldn't actually happen. I would not ever like every once in a while, like I would get like a teacher come down there that I like. Oh wow, hey yeah, like I actually had a class with this guy, and like I can ask him some things and whatever to kind of see like how to help me out. But yeah, normally, dude, you're splashing with the sprinkler. You're just hitting that guy's house. Great. Um, but yeah, normally, like, I would stay after school to not exactly feel helped with homework. Because they would have these like little arrangements where like you would have um like yeah, stay after school for a couple hours and you can get taught by some older students that could help you. And I would do that, and I just never really quite understood why. Like, I was like, dude, I can just go home and do the same thing there as I'm doing here. And it's like, and then I had to like figure out how to do the after school buses because they would like, oh well, what's your address? And I'm like, like dude, like I would just like walk home from my school most of the time because where I was and where my school was and where I was wasn't that far most of the time. And so I would just like kind of like walk home. Like a lot of times it'd be like an hour, but I didn't care. It was just like meh. A lot of times I would have like a CD or whatever that I can just pop in, um, and so I would just like walk home. I think honestly, my senior year, this is an interesting thing. Um, my senior year, I think I was late for the bus like almost like every day. Almost every day. Like I would just like I would wake up like 5 or 10 minutes before I had to like get out to the bus and so I would um I would wake up, throw my stuff and then just get on the bus and then just go. And and the bus would luckily just be there and pick me up. There would be some times where, like, uh, I would get up, fall asleep. Uh, the bus would leave, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I have to get to school still, and so like here's me just kind of like just running to just get to school, knowing full well like, oh, okay, well, school starts at 8. Like like I have like a 45-minute whatever, and so all right, like I think I can make it there on time. And so, like, I remember like going to like Spanish class because that was my first period. And I remember like being late like almost every day, and the Spanish teacher just wouldn't care. She's like, "Oh, well, at least you're here. That's all that matters." I'm like, "Okay, fine, great." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be late every single day of this class," because there would just be some classes where I just honestly just did not care to go. There were some classes where I'm just like, um, I liked the teachers. A lot of the stuff was just a lot of the stuff was fun to like. If anything, yeah, like this whole entire video was me just saying like, yeah, like my senior year, I was just like, how quickly could I just be out of there with schooling? It was just like this was the last year, so it was just kind of like, how quickly could I get out? How quickly could I escape? Because I realized that it's like, okay, well, once high school is up, then I'm donezo. Like I could be done with school completely. Um, Reasonably, I could have gone to college. College might have been fun, um, but yeah, like not saying that I wanted to, as soon as high school was over, I wanted to be done with school forever. Like I really just like was one of those people where it was like, dude, you gotta like for an entire like almost year's worth of time in one school year, like you gotta go in there like every like 5 days out of the week. And then eventually, hilariously enough, like once like I was done with school, then basically like work basically became like school, to where eventually like I would go and I would work like a shift that would be like 8 to 4, or sometimes even longer than that because stores were insane. To she's like, oh hey, well we need you here for longer, and I'm like, dude, I've already been here for 8 hours. Like, how long do you want me here for? Oh, could you stay for another 2 to 3 to the rest of the day? And I'm like, dude, I'm getting kind of burnt. I'm a little burnt out. Because they would do that like every single day too. Um, and then plus there'd be some times where, uh, I would get there at certain jobs, like towards the tail end of me working. Like uh, I would go to jobs at like 5 in the morning, and then they would want me to uh, like some of the shifts were really easy. They were like, hey, get here at 5 and then leave at like I think it was like 1 or 2. But then eventually, sometimes they would just be like, "Well, hey, could you stay till like 4 or 5?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "This is getting crazy." Uh, like, cause like a lot of the times those jobs like wouldn't feed you either. Like you would get maybe a 30-minute break, and that's lucky. Because a lot of times they would not, like, you would get no break whatsoever. You get a 9 hour shift, and they couldn't give you a break. You'd be like, hey, yeah, like luckily I'm coming in here to cover someone else's break, but I am not going to get one. And why am I here then? Like, shouldn't I be leaving early then? Wouldn't that be a nice thing to do? Because you're going to probably cut my pay anyways, um, for that 30-minute break. Like, it's kind of funny how they would say that, uh, oh yeah, we're gonna start writing you up if you aren't taking your 30-minute break. I'm like, well, if there's no one to relieve me, then how am I going to take my 30-minute break? And they're like, I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, but then they were threatening to like write people up, and I think that was like the one job where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave. Like, I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna go somewhere else. I already have a job lined up. I'm gonna go out. Bye. Unfortunately, that job was just as great as all the other ones that I would get at some point in time. So, but yeah, pause for a second. All right. With not even realizing how long I've been talking for, it like kind of just gets to the point where you just kind of go rambling on. So I'm gonna get out of here. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.